Okay, good afternoon, all the participants. On behalf of the Academy, I extend warm welcome to each one of you for today's webinar on workshop accounts. And to take up the session, we have Sri P.V. Raghav Rao, he is Senior AFA retired from South Central Railway. Welcome, sir, and it's over to you to commence the session.
Thank you, Banner. Thank you, Sitara. I think I am audible to all of you. Please respond, any one of you.
Yes, sir, audible, sir.
Okay, thank you.
And PPT also visible?
Yeah.
Sir,
Earlier in two sessions, I have very in detail, I have explained about the intricacies of the workshop manufacturing suspense account, also the work order system and the details related to the initial documents of that. Today, we will further go ahead on the topics of workshop general register, which is an important topic, which is also an examination oriented topic, and then outturn statements, and then on cost in workshops, preparation of on cost budget, that are the important aspects in the on cost, job costing system in brief. This is for the examination point of view. Again, I will be requesting you to jot down with a pen or pencil. Need not be maintained, notes need not be maintained, but if you write keywords, if you write all the keywords whenever you hear these things, then you will be in a position to remember and recollect and write in the examinations. That is important of that jotting down the notes. You need not maintain the notes, but however, you take a pen and paper and please write down the important key topics, whatever you feel important to be written on these issues, because in the you will be getting these questions in the specialized papers and as well also in the general paper also. You will have to explain, because this is an important area of these things. So today's topics are workshop general register and the preparation of outturn statements on cost in workshop, that is indirect expenditure, preparation of on-cost budgets and the costing system in Indian Railway workshops, and job costing system. These are the important topics. Now, the workshop general register. This is an important document. The workshop general register, as the name suggests, this is posted from the relevant work orders maintained in the workshops. Normally, you will be collecting the expenditure through work orders. The elements of expenditure are direct labor, direct material, and indirect expenditure, that is on cost. That is labor on cost and material on cost together. Material, labor, and on cost. That is the important elements of a work order. The collection of expenditure through these elements of cost: material, labor, and on cost. This workshop general register is maintained in workshop accounts office. Workshop general register is maintained by the workshop accounts officer. In his office, he will be maintaining and he will be reviewing this register monthly. The workshop general register is maintained in accounts office, reviewed by workshop accounts officer, and monthly review takes place. That means the labor and materials and other charges for the month relating to each work order. We have also seen in earlier classes that each work order is for each activity. Each activity again is identified with the allocation in the revenue accounts classification, and according to the expenditure spent on the activity for that month. Expenditure spent on the activity for that month, which is collected through a work order, which is summarized into all work orders in a monthly mode, is posted in a register known as workshop general register. Workshop general register. This is maintained in accounts office. Now, due to mechanization, due to computerization of and also integration of various activities under management information system (MIS), we have WGR is a mechanized part. It is also computerized in many, and in production units more so. they have been computerized. And in detail, the expenditure details and review takes place in a systematic manner. But in general railway workshops, in some of the workshops, the MIS is still in progress, And once this gets computerized and it is gets integrated with other management information system, so that we have various managerial reviews on the expenditure. The purpose of workshop general register, purpose of work orders, the purpose of posting these outturn statements, which we call them, is but for the control over expenditure mechanism, which is exercised by the associate accounts officer, that is workshop accounts officers, and that respect to journal workshops. Now because the computerization is progress, so MIS under IMMS, Integrated Material Management System. IMMS means Integrated Material Management System. WISE means Workshop Information System Engineering. That is also one this thing. IPAS, you know the IPAS. That is Accounting Information System. For collecting the expenditure element-wise, that is labor, material, and on-cost, this is being used. Normally, checking the postings of WJ, which is an important part. Necessary check sheets have to be posted by that particular section officer, for posting labor and material and to see that expenditure pertaining to that particular job, that particular activity, and that particular allocation is being dealt or not is seen by and is a part of the internal check mechanism. Based on the workshop general register. So workshop general list is nothing but summary of posting of all work orders and collecting the expenditure in a monthly mode dealt by an accounts officer. And based on this workshop general register, outturn statements are prepared. Outturn statements are prepared. That is how we will make these statements in the outturn register, which we also maintain in the workshop accounts office. So workshop accounts office also maintains these outturn registers, otherwise known as outturn statements. I'm showing you the workshop general register, a format of the workshop general registers, how in detail it is there. It is available in the form W1201, is in mechanical code, and for whom it is executed, authority, and also the work order number, authority, date of commencement and date of completion, and debits and credits in case of any activity, each activity. Sometimes credits may also come from the respective work orders. So against incentive bonus, labor charges, material part, and overheads wherever are there, pro forma on cost charges, and then factory overheads, administrative overheads, township overheads, all those overheads, stores overheads are all collected. Normally township overheads, administrative overheads, and stores overheads, we will be seeing them in the production units. In the general railway workshop, we will be seeing mainly the overheads related to the general on cost and shop on cost overheads. That is how we will be overheads collected. And works on cost is two parts, that is general on cost and shop on cost together are known as works on cost. Shop on cost and general on cost together in Indian Railway General Railway Workshop is known as works on cost. That is how we will be collecting the activity-wise expenditure. That is how we are collecting the activity-wise expenditure. This work order-wise expenditure, total each work order, and summarized, all work orders summarized in the register. If you see, it's a very big register to see, and then we will be seeing the adjustments made out of these items and adjustments to be made out of these items, and the expenditure not collected in these work orders. All these things can be reviewed. All these things can be reviewed through this workshop general register. This is the part of the accounts office job, accounts of duty of the workshop accounts officer. He is responsible to do this. And then workshop outturn statements and the register posting of outturn register, as we are discussing, this is posted from the workshop general list every month and correlated with the physical outturn in the shops. We will be correlating the physical outturn in the shops in a broad way. If there is an outturn and if there is no expenditure in that work order part, then we have to see and place write back work orders, because in that case there may be some kind of wrong bookings in the work orders. So we have to ensure wherever the outturn is there, physical outturn, wherever the expenditure is, whether the outturn, physical outturn and the expenditure in the work orders collected in the monthly in the register workshop general list is correlated in such a way that there are no abnormalities with reference to the physical outturn and as well as the expenditure collected through the work order workshop general register. Expenditure collected to the workshop general register and correlated with the physical outturn of the shops, and we will be posting the register which is in two parts. Outturn statement we call it as, it is in two parts. Again, this part of the workshop general register, that is postings and maintain workshop outturn register or outturn statement we call it as. This is also reviewed by the accounts officer. So that means a workshop accounts officer will be reviewing thoroughly the postings made by the in the workshop accounts office to ensure that there is no collection of expenditure, it's wrong collection of expenditure among the activities, and as well as because if you collect wrongly the expenditure and giving it to the final heads also will become wrong. And accordingly, there may be some kind of a misclassification of expenditure among the activities. That should not happen. If you do that, then it becomes unit cost of that particular activity may go wrong also. As such, it is necessary that workshop accounts officer has to properly review a monthly with regard to collection of expenditure in the workshop general register, as well as posting of the items in the workshop outturn register for preparation of outturn statements, part 1 and part 2. Normally, the outturn statements are prepared for part 1 and part 2 by the respective section officer of that particular section. We call it as a workshop manufacturing suspense section. There is one section officer, he is holding this basic job. This is posted in two parts. What outturn register is posted, that outturn statement is posted in two parts, it's made in two parts. The part 1 is representing the works completed and financial adjustments have to be completed in that particular month itself. That means I will be giving a JV to the, because entire expenditure in workshop manufacturing suspense account for which physical outturn took place, for which financial outturn statement has been prepared, and for which I have to necessarily make the adjustment to the final heads. I have to make the necessary final adjustment to the final heads in that particular month itself. Before the closure of the month itself, I will be finalizing the JV, and that is normally, if you see, normally in normal practices, they will be seeing unless until outturn JV is given by the journal in the workshops in the journal railway, accounts are not closed. Normally we are closing the accounts by 5th of the following day. So it is necessary that we will be closing the accounts with the outturn JVs, necessary outturn JVs. It's a must. If we don't clear the expenditure from workshop manufacturing suspense account to the final heads, that is normally in the case of carriages and wagons, demand number 6, that is erstwhile demand number 6 is debited and workshop manufacturing suspense account is credited. Unless until proper accounting of expenditure takes place to the final heads under demands 5, repairs and maintenance of motive power and repairs and maintenance of carriage and wagon, repairs and maintenance of plant and equipment. That's 12 demands. Even the repairs and maintenance of way and works, permanent way and works 4, 5, 6, 7. We call it as repairs and maintenance chunk of expenditure, which is a vital chunk of expenditure. Unless until this final head transactions takes place, your operating ratio is not true. It will not give a true and fair picture. It will not present correct value. As such, it is necessary that final heads have to be debited. That is outturn statement part 1, for which we have to make final adjustment in that particular month related to the completed outturn. Related to the completed outturn is a vital job of the workshop accounts officer, for which he will be making the final adjustments in that month itself, for which the outturn pertaining to. Similarly, there is another part in this outturn register, that is outturn statement part 2. This these postings of this part 2, either in the register in the form of a statement, represents the value of the works completed for which adjustments are yet to be made. That means the entire expenditure related to the part 2 outturn of that particular WJR month and WJR is nothing but the outstanding amount in the workshop manufacturing suspense account. So workshop manufacturing suspense account should not be unduly given with a higher closing balance. That means irregular balances which are not pertaining. That means a suspense account should reflect true and fair value of the work orders that are outstanding. That is, normally it should be work in progress only. So normally the workshop manufacturing suspense account closing balance should represent only the work in progress, Otherwise, permissible transactions on which the accounts office and the executive office are aware of them, and for which they will be making the final heads transactions to the final heads in the subsequent month without much delay. It may be due to one or two things which could not be settled in the transactions for want of funds, or maybe this may be a temporarily kept in the suspense account. But however, it is not permitted at the year end. At the year end, it is not at all permitted. At the year end, that means that by closing of 31st March, it is necessary to see that the entire transactions relating to the completed outturn has been posted to the final heads. Expenditure related to the completed outturn of that particular month and to the end of the year has to be given to the final heads, has to be necessarily given to the final heads, and should not be continued in the workshop manufacturing suspense account, which is nothing but, if you continue so, then it is a misclassification of expenditure between the capital and the revenue. Capital means this is capital suspense. Expenditure has been continued in the capital suspense, and which ought to have been claimed to the final heads and the revenue demands, definitely leads to misclassification. It takes like that, which is in beyond permissible limits. If it is in permissible limits, which can be explained with the minor variants may be there because of the enormity of this operation of workshop manufacturing suspense account. As such, now what we have understood, the workshop journal list is the basic document for preparation of outturn statements, part 1 and part 2 posted in the register. Part 1 represents for which necessarily we will be completing, because if you complete part 1 of the last month and this one, you compare the part 1 of the previous months and this one, we can understand what kind of activities are flowing in, and what are the activities that are being completed, and what are the activities that are to be given to the final heads, and what are the items that can be continued in the suspense account as closing balance, which is none other than the part 2 outturn statements. So these aspects are subject to internal check, and is a review point by the associate accounts officer. A review point by the associate accounts officer. So it is necessary that no amount is allowed to remain unclear in part 2 outturn statement. What can be the reasons? Want of funds, want of acceptance, or want of sanction. So that means for want of funds, without budget, we have commenced the work, which is not an acceptable situation. For want of acceptance, there is a delay in accepting the transaction by the authority who have placed the work order on this work. And for want of sanction, so authority has not sanctioned the item, which means that is an unsanctioned expenditure. So these things should be avoided, and these things should be identified through this workshop general register and as well the outturn register part 2, wherein we have to take a corrective action and also report to the chief workshop manager, whoever is responsible for the activities in workshop, for the corrective action. That is the importance of the workshop outturn statements part 1. I am just giving a pictorial picture of outturn statement part 1 and part 2. This is only pictorial to make you a little more understanding. Adjustments to be carried out in the same month of accounts, which it is pertaining to. Part 2 means works in progress and completed works awaiting adjustment. So that means we all should remember preparation of outturn statement and posting in the outturn registers part 1, part 2 is basically this. So please look at this, and also how the workshop outturn statement looks at as per the format given in the mechanical code. We just see workshop outturn statement for the month of so work order number, allocation, authority for whom the work is executed, and particulars related to particulars of the item and estimates and previous expenditure, all items related to the direct charges, charges during the month, charges including the overhead charges, on cost, and then total up to date, that is to date expenditure complete for this month, previous month, and to date, and total, and credits during the month, that means for which we have made adjustments to the panel heads and closing balance and the closing. This is how the workshop outturn statement, which is posted in the form of a register also. We also make this a, now it is under computerized units, there is a register. So register automatically gives the postings automatically, and also it gives us the details with regard to outstanding item for what reason also we can understand. But that is how the importance of this format and the importance of the preparation of the workshop outturn statement and posting of the outturn statement part 2. This means when we review what is happening, this is posted from the WGR actually month by month and is correlated with the physical outturn in the workshops. Outturn is subject to review by the unit of accounts officer monthly. It is a monthly must review by the workshop accounts officer. And the after outturn register, normally if you see the value of the works completed for which adjustments are yet to be made is a serious concern to the workshop accounts officer. And also items in under works in progress. Okay, works in progress items are is permissible. Where for which adjustment to be made is required for the follow-up action by the workshop accounts officer. That is how the workshop outturn register. So also we also correlate this with the work order register. Work order register and workshop journal list also correlated and reconciled with regard to the check of the outstanding items to be posted in the register. That is about the posting of WGR and posting of these items under these things. Now let us go to the aspects of cost and cost control. The postings are given briefly, and the item posted in the work order divided by the number of units is nothing but unit cost. In railways, for unit cost is calculated based on the total expenditure to end of the month in that particular work order, and items, number of service units produced in that particular workshop to end of that month is nothing but unit cost of POH, unit cost of corrosion repair, unit cost of a special repair, anything. The basis is the work order for that activity. So that is how the unit cost is calculated based on the postings made in the workshop general register also. Now let us look about this cost and cost control. I will introduce you two terms known as cost control and cost reduction. Cost control is nothing but identifying the elements of expenditure and to see that whether we can postpone or defer the expenditure to the future periods based on the ways and means available. Because if you don't have a budget grant, so till such time you get your budget grant, that is unless until the budget is passed by the parliament and sanctioned by the president, the executive authorities are not eligible to draw the amount to the budget orders and spend the amount for their activities. It is necessary that every year this thing has to be done. As such, anyway, it is being done, being the parliamentary control or in government finances as such. But however, for our purposes, for our managerial purpose, we have to have the two items in the finance and accounts office, the cost control and cost reduction. Cost control means controlling the expenditure based on the grant available, funds available. That's what availability of funds we see whenever we incur the expenditure at each stage of the from the proposal stage to even to the final at the making at the final allocation, that is at the booking to the expenditure to the final heads, expenditure booking to the final head. To that extent, we will be watching whether the funds availability is there or not. That is the purpose of that. That is known as cost control, controlling the expenditure and incurring it to the final heads, only having the availability of money as per the budget grant or a budget order. That is done. How we can see, if you see the elements of cost, I will just give for the purpose of understanding and control the cost. We have material cost, labor cost, direct expenses cost, again overheads cost. And then if you see the overheads, we use supervising overheads. There are functional overheads, general overheads, and also overheads related to the pension fund, overhead related to the depreciation, and also from general overheads, we can also have these charges. Also, we can have central charges. So these are all the various aspects of item which we can identify with our primary units of expenditure. Objects of expenditure is available except for the depreciation and other things. All other things are all broadly available with reference to our objects of expenditure and classification of expenditure, so that cost control can be dealt with. That is how. Whereas the cost reduction is such a thing where you can exercise, we can exercise some kind of permanent reduction of expenditure in the manufacturing process or the service process as such. I'm again repeating, the cost reduction is nothing but trying to achieve permanent reduction of costs by way of re-engineering, by way of reorganizing, by way of locating a substitute material, by way of replacing an item with some other item where the user is not deprived of benefit, of end user is not suffering because the passenger or the commodity given, he should be provided with the reasonable level of service. Without foregoing that, if you reduce the expenditure in a permanent way, that is known as cost reduction. That is known as cost. There is a difference between the cost control and the cost reduction. Cost reduction is a permanent mode, whereas the cost control is deferring the expenditure. We may incur the liability, but however, post the liability to the next period and seek the budget grant, and accordingly only you pay. But whereas cost reduction is a joint exercise by the executive authorities and finance officers and all others to see that there is a permanent reduction in the expenditure. For example, previously we were having so many items which are made of metals. Now we are having items made of fiber, which are end user is comfortable, also which gives a lighter weight in the rolling stock components. Like that, so many items. So that is known as cost reduction, which is a permanent measure. The permanent measure of cost reduction, they say value engineering, value analysis, so many items in this research takes place and cost reduction takes place. Through this, why we are mentioning this cost control and cost reduction, through our system of workshop generally and posting of outcomes and analyzing the work orders. Analyzing these work orders with reference to activities, yes, we can achieve the cost control as well as the cost reduction in our operation. We can achieve the cost control and cost reduction in our operation. That is an important thing. Again, we need to have some other awareness with reference to classification of cost. Classification of cost is an important aspect for us, for finance and accounts officers. So unless until we flexibly understand these concepts of cost, how we classify these costs, we can, classification of cost can be time-based, can be element-wise, can be nature-wise, can be relation-wise, can be controllability-wise, can be normality-wise, normal expenditure and abnormal expenditure, can be functional-wise. Of course, we are also using these aspects in our day-to-day working in our finance and accounts office. I will be providing the inside data with reference to time-based classification of costs. We are all aware the predetermined costs, historical costs, actual costs. So predetermined costs or historical costs Actual cost is nothing but market rates. Predetermined cost, we will fix a rate. We will fix a rate whether our input cost is equal to that. And then historical cost means whatever we have levied and we have collected. So these are related to the various aspects of cost, which are time-wise. When we make estimates, we use these things. When we make estimates, when we make project reports, when we use these things in the making a project report with reference to a new line or with reference to construction of a new workshop. So these things, time-based costs, we will be using for the purpose of arriving at a estimated cost of a project or any such thing. We will be seeing this and we are using these things in the regular basis. Element-wise cost, yes, for understanding the input cost of an activity, for understanding the input cost of an activity or a manufacture. We will be seeing the material cost, labor cost, and overhead cost. Basically, overhead costs are important. So why we require the analysis of overheads? Unless until we technically analyze the overheads, whether we can go with the continuance of manufacture of those components or continuance of that operation and how much we are losing on particular service, these things can be understood by the analyzing the items of cost in terms of elements, that is direct material, direct labor, direct expenses, and indirect expenses, that is nothing but overheads. This is very much important. Normally, identifying the costs of items element-wise, both for the production units and as well as general workshops, it is a must. And work order system is based on this analysis of element-wise cost. Then again, there is classification of cost, again nature-wise. Nature-wise classification of cost is also important. I'm only just giving the idea, broad idea, why these are all required in our system. Fixed expenses, variable expenses, and semi-variable expenses. You are not, fixed expenditure is nothing but overhead expenditure. Variable expenditure is nothing but it varies along with the, based on the outcome of the particular output of the items. If the output varies, the variable cost also varies. Irrespective of the output, fixed expenditure is fixed for a particular period of time. Fixed expenditure is fixed for a particular period of time. As such, it is important to know whether we can optimize our production in workshops or production units so that you will recover the fixed element. And similarly, semi-variable also. Semi-variable is also another important aspect. These things, the nature-wise classification of cost based on the classification of expenditure available with us, it can be dealt by us with the help of primary units, that is objects of expenditure. This we can identify. Now, then there are some direct cost and indirect cost relationship of direct cost and indirect cost. So in the case of direct cost, whenever we want to charge the items, direct costs are important, indirect costs are also important, and variable costs are fixed, variable, semi-variable. Like this, nature-wise and relation-wise cost classification and understanding is most vital for our finance and accounts department. There are again another classification of costs, control-wise cost, controllable cost and uncontrollable cost. If you see the controllable cost, means based on the ways and means, if the fund is available, we will pass the OT bills. Under primary rate to OT, there is a primary rate. And under primary traveling allowance TA bill, there is a primary rate. So unless until you have grant against that TA, you will not incur the expenditure. You will not pass the bills. You will pend them until such time budget grant comes. That is known as controllable. And what are the uncontrollable primaries? Pay and allowance. Pay is a must. Basic pay is a must payable to the employee. So uncontrollable primary rates are zero, pay, DA, HRA, CCA, irrespective of the outcome or irrespective of the services rendered, we have to pay. But whereas overtime allowance, night duty allowance, traveling allowance, like these some of the controllable primaries we can control. So we have to have knowledge of these controllable and uncontrollable costs through the primary units as well as the activities available. And there are normal costs and abnormal costs. Normal cost means expenditure which can be incurred in that particular operating period, which is essential for the making out the outturn, which is essential for the making of the outturn and the services. For example, for normal cost, all our revenue expenditure and demand numbers 3 to 13 is normal cost. But however, there is an expenditure which is abnormal, which is we normally call as act of God, which is unforeseen expenditure. We incur expenditure, this kind of abnormal expenditure, through disaster management models, disaster management funding, like urgency certificate we issue, and for restoring the traffic, wherever we have breaches and wash down and accident takes place, when there is no through communication, for that purpose, we have to incur this expenditure, which is an abnormal expenditure, which is an essential one. Even we did not look for the sanction, we have to make a urgency certificate and incur the expenditure immediately to restore the through traffic, and also to safeguard the life, and also to safeguard the property of the system. We will be incurring this abnormal expenditure, which is otherwise incurred through to restore the through communication and to safeguard the life and property of the Indian Railway assets. So normally this normal expenditure is ordinary revenue expenditure. This abnormal expenditure in Indian Railways, we call it as a special revenue. We call it as a special revenue. We will be seeing this kind of classification. There is again functional wise classification of expenditure. Normally, you can see these functional HODs. HOD is the budgeting officer under his, he is a budgeting officer for various activities. For example, Chief Workshop Engineer, he is an HOD for the funding operations of all workshops in a zonal railway. All mechanical workshops in a zonal railway is under the fund control of the Chief Workshop Engineer. Chief Workshop Manager may be independent in charge of a particular zonal railway workshop, but actually Chief Workshop Engineer is the funding officer. All the activities in the workshops, correlating them and also systematically synchronizing them for the requirement of the system, he will be holding the functional authority with reference to operation and providing the funds to the various budget estimates, revised estimates, and all such. Like that, operational functional authorities like operational authorities and running and maintenance authorities and administrative authorities. Administrative means all other support departments like accounts, finance, and stores, and also personnel, HRD, these departments. So functional HOD wise classification of costs is also vital for the purpose of budgetary control and watching the expenditure. So this is the classification of cost in our system, and we must have proper awareness of this cost, and in our working how we will be taking decisions for the purpose of expenditure control as well as the cost control and as well as the cost reduction. So this is a combined activity. Today we are combining, why we are integrating the various information system. Overall objective is to reduce the expenditure and increase the services or increase the earnings and have a best combination so that we achieve a very good operating ratio. Very good operating, how we achieve is for that purpose. So this is about the brief about the classification of cost. Why? Because I am going into the indirect expenditure in detail in zonal railway workshops, more so in zonal railway workshops. Okay, I will be going to the indirect expenditure, touching upon this indirect expenditure. Indirect expenses are commonly called as on cost. In Indian Railway parlance, we use the word on cost and are levied as a predetermined percentage for each work and charge. For example, if it is a work order, for each work order, for each activity, there is a predetermined on cost percentage is fixed based on the previous period's actuals, and we fix a percentage, and that percentage we will be levying to the current day activities, current month activities. This is done reasonably in such a way that we properly charge the activities, because it is very difficult to absorb that particular indirect expenditure to that particular activity, because expenditure allocation is collected in different way, and locating into the particular activities for this particular indirect expenditure is very difficult. It is not possible. As such, we have to have some kind of a predetermined percentage. This is a model to put to that activity indirect cost. As such, so analysis of on-cost expenditure, that is indirect expenditure in Indian Railways, goes to a very paramount importance. How to deal this? So to deal this, we classify this on-cost expenditure in general railway workshops in 3 ways. On-cost are 3 kinds in general railway workshops. We identify the indirect expenditure, otherwise known as on-cost, in 3 kinds. That is shop on-cost, general on-cost, and pro forma. Again, I will repeat: shop on-cost, general on-cost, and pro forma on-cost. This is the 3 kinds of on-cost which we use in Indian Railways. The indirect expenditure incurred in common to all works, in a shop is known as shop on cost. That means there is a shop, there is a paint shop, there is a wheel shop, there is an axle shop, there is a smithy shop. So in these shops, there is a supervisor, there is some common machinery. So the activities, many activities are dealt by these people. The supervisor will supervise many activities, whereas for each activity there is a direct worker. A direct worker wages can be directly identified to that particular work, whereas indirect workers are there. There may be shop classes, those are support staff, and also shop supervisor. He is a general engineer. He is a chargeman of all the activities. He is some kind of a engineer. He is supervising all the activities. Unless until he is there, it is difficult to take the outturn of that particular indirect expenditure incurred in common to all works, all activities in a shop. In a shop is known as shop on cost. The indirect expenditure, I repeat again, the indirect expenditure incurred in common to all works, or otherwise known as activities. Maybe works maybe manufacturing of components, maybe periodical overhauling, maybe corrosion repairs, special repairs, anything for that matter. That means indirect expenditure incurred in common to all these activities in a shop is known as a shop on cost. Normally, general consumables in a shop, general grease, oil, so many things they will be using. Everybody using that. Everybody using the cleaning items. Everybody using the common machinery. Everybody using the small wheelbarrows to move the material. So like that, a common expenditure. Similarly, indirect workers' wages and common machinery, all these, they are the examples of the shop on cost. Then the indirect expenditure incurred in common to all shops, paint shop, smithy shop, wheel shop, axle shop, or some kind of body shop, or some kind of a draft gate section, anything for that. So many shops will be there in a workshop based on the type of the rolling stock we attend. So the indirect expenditure incurred in common to all shops is known as general on cost. That is, if you see the very palpable identification of general on cost is that workshop overhead lighting. Security, RPF people will be securing the entire workshop premises and inside and outside. So they are common to all shops. Then their wages, and then expenditure on traverser. We have to take the items from one shop to other, the same item. So there won't be that kind of expenditure. And then watering arrangements, sewerage arrangements, expenditure incurred on these things incurred in common to all shop is known as general on cost. There is another model of on cost, that is pro forma on cost. Administrative charges, which include proportionate expenditure. These administrative charges are incurred in other revenue demands, which are not a charge to WMS account. These people are not expenditure related to these indirect staff, administrative staff, are not a charge to WMS account. As such, the proportionate expenditure of all supervisory services of these particular activities, those who are dealing with these things, and interest and depreciation charges, and pensionary equivalent of the pensioners, pensions DCRG paid to that particular artisan staff, which was not a charge to WMS account, is known as pro forma on cost. That is known as pro forma on cost. Pro forma on cost is administrative charge which include proportionate expenditure on all supervisory services, interest and depreciation charges and pensionary items. These things are known as pro forma on cost, otherwise known as administrative overheads. Otherwise, these pro forma on costs, which is not an expenditure which incurred within the workshop for the workshop activities, which is incurred by other revenue demands, is calculated separately. And levied. And to whom it is levied, we will be discussing. We will see that. I will again in detail explain what is the shop on cost. Now, the indirect expenditure incurred in common to all works in a shop is known as shop on cost. These general consumables in a shop, indirect workers' wages, common wastage, etc. I will give you some more examples. Wages, overtime, etc. of workshop apprentices attached to shops. JEs means junior engineers, unskilled labor, and other indirect workers, that is clerks, storemen, etc. Those are common to the all activities. Shop scrap, which is a credit, that also taken into consideration, and consumable stores like grease, glass, cloth, oil, and other consumables. Lighting charges in shops, which is common to all activities. Wages of operators of machines. Yes, there is their expenditures of indirect expenditure. Defective and spoiled work, and also an experiment. Working expense of cranes, lorries, auto trucks, and shunters. These are all the few examples of shop on cost. So the expenditure on labor and material can be identified separately. This on cost expenditure, shop on cost expenditure can be identified labor wise and material wise. So it should be collected through how to collect this shop on cost expenditure. So we issue a standing work order. Against this standing work order, for the entire 6 months or maybe for the entire 1 year, we will be collecting the expenditure and keeping it aside for this particular shop. And we will fix a percentage on direct labor. They may be collected about some 1,500 rupees against the 10,000 rupees of that cost of labor cost. Then shop on cost of that particular shop is 15%, 10%, 20%, like that. We will be fixing a predetermined percentage on, because we calculate percentage based on the direct wages of the shop. Understand? So what is the direct wages of the shop? Based on the direct wages or direct labor of that particular shop and levied on the jobs. We will levy this percentage in the future activity. Normally, we do this shop on cost by collecting the previous 6 months expenditure, or by collecting the previous 1 year's expenditure collected through standing work orders, and fix a percentage. And that percentage we levy for the ongoing activities, and currently charge it to the work orders for putting it to the final heads. That is how we will be levying the shop on cost. So this is the important thing. In detail we are discussing. Then there is general on cost. In detail I am telling you, the indirect expenditure incurred in common to all shops in a workshop is called general on cost. That is workshop overhead lighting. There is a big overhead mass that there is giving lighting to all shops. Then security expenditure on traverses, watering arrangements, wages of workshop employees working on yard establishments, wages or time of the staff such as apprentices not attached to shops, they will be working everywhere. And freight charges that cannot be directly allocated to jobs, wherever freight we cannot allocate to a job. Then electrical and hydraulic pneumatic power that cannot be charged to jobs, which is a common thing, pressure is being used. And then working expenses of central works pumping and plants, replacement of articles stolen or lost. So these are all the various examples of the general on cost. We will be giving a standing work order to each one and collect the expenditure and fix a predetermined percent and direct labor of the entire all workshops. All workshop direct labor, how much we will identify, and we will fix a percentage on this item. So general on cost is a a fixed percentage for all shops. Shop on cost is individual percentage fixed for each shop. Paint shop maybe 15%, smithy shop maybe 10%, some other shop maybe 15%, 16%, like that. Whereas general on cost is common general on cost percentages, maybe 3%, maybe 4% to all shops. That is how we collect this general on cost. That is how we will be collecting the general on cost. Now, which is an important topic known as pro forma on cost. These pro forma on cost charges, which normally general on cost and shop on cost together known as works on cost. Again, I repeat, the general on cost, shop on cost together known as works on cost. In commercial undertakings, we call it as factory overheads. But whereas pro forma on cost, in commercial undertaking, we call it as administrative overheads. What are these items? These are the proportionate charges of supervisors and other officers who are directly supervising the activities and controlling the activities of the workshop. Normally, Indian Railways don't charge the pro forma on cost for their own working, because the services rendered to home railway workshops and foreign railway workshops, rolling stock, the work rendered to for their own works, for Indian Railways works, pro forma on cost is not levied. The pro forma on cost is levied for the works undertaken by the zonal railway workshops and production units for the private bodies and other government departments and other units, other corporate units, private bodies, corporate units, other government departments and other public departments also. Wherever railways undertake work based on the funds availability given by them under the deposit terms, that item, for such works, we levy these pro forma on cost. The pro forma on costs are levied only for the works undertaken by the zonal railway workshops or production units, for the works given by the other government departments, other private parties, corporates and public units, public sector units. So for them, we levy these pro forma on cost. So whatever the pro forma on cost, which is an additional levy, whatever we collect to the zonal railways is nothing but earning. Pro forma on cost collected for the works done by the other government departments or anybody or private bodies, which is collected, is to be credited to Z earnings, is created to Z earnings, and should be on a concurrent basis. Whenever we do, we have to do it on a current day basis, updated rates. It should not be on the previous dates, which are old dates. So the levy of the percentages on works, the estimates for the pro forma on cost should be made well in advance. To levy, you have to have a proper understanding about the work and its percentages and its updation and its inflation, and accordingly fix the percentages and take the GM SOP approval. We have to take the approval of the general manager SOP for fixing the percentage, for fixing the percentages. And when the GM SOP is approving the sanctioning that levy, then it should be have associate finance. FANCO has to concur. FANCO has to concur the percentage of levy for the sanction of general manager. So normally we do on the private works, the estimates prepared by the administration for the works undertaken on deposit account. Normally we see these items under the works undertaken under the deposit account terms. Deposit account terms. Estimate should be done when we make an estimate. In the estimate itself, when we verify an estimate in the accounts office for the other government departments or private bodies and such, as a part of internal check, you will be seeing that the necessary pro forma on cost charge is levied, is put in the estimate itself. For collecting the pro forma on cost in advance and keep it in the deposit account. Collect the pro forma on cost charges along with the other costs in advance and keep it in the deposit account on concurrent basis, On completion of work against that estimate, we will have to give it to the jet earnings. It is an earning to the railway. It is an earning to the railway. As such, the performance cost calculation, the element of supervision charges, interest and depreciation charges, pensionary equivalents, all these things have to be levied correctly and collected concurrently and given it to the jet earnings of that particular month or the year which it pertains to. That is the most important thing. If you don't do that, for the collection of items which is continued in the workshop manufacturing suspense account, it is also a misclassification. It's a misclassification between the revenue and the expenditure, capital expenditure. Revenue and capital expenditure, is there a misclassification? Then it is a pure misclassification. As such, now let us deal little detail into the pro forma cost budget. How to prepare this pro forma cost? The pro forma cost, but it is prepared annually. So every year we have to prepare based on the actual expenditure pertaining to calendar year, last calendar year, from 1st January to 31st December. Take the all elements of items under pro forma cost relating to proportionate expenditure relating to all proportionate charges of the various authorities and prepare it for every financial year. With the concurrence of FANCO, GM SAB has to sanction this levy of percentage. Associate FANCO, Associate Accounts Officer, has to concur the levy of percentages with a proper calculation and put up for the GM sanction. And once the GM sanction comes for that particular year, the levy of pro forma cost charges for the commencement of 1st April to next 31st March, based on the percentage fixed and were calculated with all the factors, with all the including escalation factors, estimated factors, all the factors taken into consideration, that percentage levy is made on the works undertaken for the private bodies. So this is an important task. The annual estimate, important task of the workshop accounts officer, proposing these pro forma cost charges for the various workshops within the jurisdiction, and FANCO SNW SAB will be consolidating and putting up to the general manager SAB. So he will give the approval for the incurring. क्या होता है annual estimated charges में? Supervision charges of all staff of departments, headquarters, workshop whose duties are directly concerned with the workshop, contribution to PF, gratuity, special contribution, etc. of workshop staff, repairs and maintenance of buildings and plant and machinery, interest and depreciation of land, buildings and plant machinery. ये सब चीजों का करके कैलकुलेशन करके इसके मुताबिक POC परसेंटेज बनाना है. इसके लिए the percentages of POC under the above heads on total labor it should be levied. क्या करना है? पूरा टोटल लेबर कॉस्ट के लेके पूरा टोटल लेबर का इतना होता है एक्सपेंडिचर पूरा लेके वो परसेंटेज होता है. इससे मुताबिक परफॉर्मेंस कॉस्ट परसेंटेजेस फिक्स होना. Though the POC budgeting is done by the workshop accounts officer, accounts officer will be fixing the POC percentages, verified by FANCO at the headquarters level and approved by GM annually. The POC charges, that is POC percentages, that is budgeting. The fixing of POC charges is POC budgeting is done by the workshop accounts officer, verified by the FANCO and approved by GM SAB annually. हर वर्कशॉप का हर महीने लेवी करने के लिए अप्रैल से शुरू करके 31st मार्च, अगले 31st मार्च तक whatever the items of work done for the government bodies, other government bodies, private parties and corporates, other public sector units. So these charges have been collected. Whatever is collected वो होता है जेड एडिंग्स को क्रेडिट होना and workshop manufacturing suspense account को डेबिट होना by making a voucher बना के WMS account को डेबिट करके जेड एडिंग्स को क्रेडिट करना है. हर महीने कंकरेंट बेसिस से होना चाहिए. That is about the levy of the pro forma on cost percentage. इसमें थोड़ा एक फ्लो चार्ट बनाऊंगा. Percentage of GOC or SOC to be taken is calculated for levying the same on various jobs undertaken during the year. They are based on actual for the previous 12 months that is from January to December as calculated as a percentage of direct labor. Similarly, percentage are worked out separately for labor and stores and are leviable as a percentage of the direct labor of each job. As a each job, etc. Our POC percentage to be levied for a workshop is also prepared annually under the heads of these heads, and these are worked based on the actual figures under these heads during the previous 12 months, that is January to December, as a percentage of direct labor. अभी क्या होगा, क्या हुआ, जनरल ऑन कास्ट और शेप ऑन कास्ट हम हर 6 मंथ्स हर क्वार्टरली भी कर सकते हैं. अभी आ गया ना ये कैलकुलेशंस आ गया, अभी ये आई पास में लेके हम कर सकते हैं. IMMS ये वाइज आ गया, तो वर्कशॉप अकाउंटिंग WAMS वर्कशॉप अकाउंटिंग मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम आ गया. इससे अभी एक्सपेंडिचर कलेक्ट करके अभी लिंक हो रहा है. सो इट विल बिकम कंकरेंट, सो देयर वोंट बी अंडरचार्ज और देयर वोंट बी ओवरचार्ज टू जॉब्स pertaining to that particular month outturn. So that particular month outturn should reflect the actual expenditure of direct labor, direct material and on cost. Accordingly, we will be fixing that. थोड़ा मैं एक in case of any underbar or charges में आपको एक फ्लो चार्ट बना के दिया है. आप ये थोड़ा सावधान से और एक बार रिफर करके ऐसा अंडरबार और वेरी आसान, बहुत आसान है, वेरी इजी. हाउ टू मेक एसओसी एस्टिमेट, हाउ टू मेक जीओसी एस्टिमेट, प्रोसेस इन टर्म्स ऑफ पैरा नंबर एंड डायरेक्ट लेबर एंड स्टोर्स परसेंटेज, डायरेक्ट लेबर परसेंटेज, स्टोर्स परसेंटेज कितना होता है, तो मैं थोड़ा कैलकुलेशन दिया है, आप रिफर करके. फाइनली एनी अंडरबार वॉर चार्ज, एनी अंडरबार वॉर चार्ज ड्यूरिंग द ईयर वो भी क्लियर करना है. WMS से निकाल के फाइनल हेड्स को क्लियर करना है. और इससे इन केस ऑफ आइटम्स विच कैन नॉट बी आइडेंटिफाइड पर्टिकुलर वो बजट भी सीखना है. इसलिए इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट एनी अंडरबार वॉर चार्जेस आर देयर इज सीन इन द वर्कशॉप, इन द रिव्यू बाय द वर्कशॉप अकाउंट्स ऑफिसर एवरी क्वार्टरली, एवरी हाफ ईयरली, एनुअली. हर क्वार्टर का, हर हाफ ईयर का, हर एनुअल का ये अंडरबार ओवर चार्जेस परसेंटेजेस लेवी और उनका एक्चुअल एक्सपेंडिचर और दी लेवी देख के वो क्लियर करना, क्लियर टू द फाइनल हेड्स विदाउट रिमेनिंग द आइटम अंडर WMS अकाउंट. अंडर क्लोजिंग बैलेंस में ये नहीं होना चाहिए. यू शुड नॉट कंटिन्यू इन द वर्कशॉप मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सस्पेंस अकाउंट फॉर द नेक्स्ट ईयर. ये से क्लियर करना है सेपरेट फंड लेके इन केस ऑफ एनी स्मॉल आइटम्स. दैट इज द प्रोसेस. नाउ we will move on to the job costing. Job costing is done. There are some important items in railway means. We have to manufacture bogies, bogie frames, wheels, wheel discs, axles. Okay. Then wheel and axle, wheel sets, springs. So many items which are known as capital spares. बहुत ज़्यादा होता है इसका cost. Maintain करना है, repair करना है, ज़्यादा होता है. इसीलिए these are known as unit exchange spare. The purpose of unit exchange spare होता है to minimize the holding time of the rolling stock for repairs and maintenance purpose. POH expenditure कम होना चाहिए. इसीलिए to maintain availability of rolling stock to the for the general movement it should be ensured. इसीलिए we take it as unit exchange spare. ये bogie frame होता है unit exchange spare. Springs, axles, wheels, some items, identified items. आजकल your entire assembly is known as unit exchange spare. में भी हो सकता है. हर साल definition change होता है design के मुताबिक और the operations के मुताबिक. They will change and give the guidelines accordingly. Those guidelines to be followed. Like that, we have to have job costing system for the items which are manufactured, and also to see whether these items can be purchased from market by developing sources outside, providing the designs provide करके बना सकते हैं, देखना है. Similarly, some of the items, CBC coupler, which is an important item, this is also a unit exchange spare. It's a very costly item, and traffic will be very costly item. Both revenue expenditure में और capital expenditure, revenue expenditure में POH operation में होता है. So these are all known as important for the purpose of job costing system. So for these items, we will have a job costing system. And in this job cost, what is the purpose of this costing system? This is an important examination question. Not only 5 marks question will come. The objectives of a costing system is to throw light on past experience and to locate profits or losses on previous work. पुराना काम में कोई वेस्टेज है देखना है, to act as a guide for future transactions and locate idle time assess करने के लिए, idle time find out करने के लिए, to compare different methods of manufacture the same article, to appreciate in what ways overhead expenditure may be reduced. कैसा overhead expenditure ज़्यादा है हमारा रेलवे में, operations में है और वर्कशॉप में भी ओवरहेड एक्सपेंस बहुत ज़्यादा है, कैसा इंप्रूव करना है, ओवरहेड एक्सपेंस कैसा रिड्यूस करना है, बाय मॉडर्नाइजेशन, बाय वे ऑफ रिमूविंग द मैन पावर, बाय डूइंग सम काइंड ऑफ ए री-इंजीनियरिंग. सो इज हाउ वी कैन रिड्यूस द ओवरहेड एक्सपेंडिचर. टू चेक एम्प्लॉयज एंड प्रिवेंट वेस्ट वेदर इंटेंशनल और एक्सीडेंटल, टू locate particular item of work or operation expenditure on which susceptible for cost control, whether cost control can कर सकते और cost reduction भी कर सकते, to identify the variations of cost between the various workshops. So cost comparison होना चाहिए, हर देना वर्कशॉप के साथ कंपैरिजन कर सकते हैं. हर जगहों में HRA अलग रूप से होता है, HRA पर्सन आर डिफरेंट, इसीलिए हो सकता है इससे कॉस्ट ज्यादा होता है, बट लेकिन those things are known to us, known to the management, to see that whether any wastage can be arrested. So that is the important of having the proper costing system. In the case of special works, chargeable on differential rates, for example, we are exporting some components to the international markets, or whether we can reduce and offer a price like that, this costing system is useful. And also to make or buy decisions, and make and buy भी कर सकते हैं, थोड़ा हम करना ही और मार्केट में देना है, to contain the market prices. मार्केट प्राइस कंट्रोल करने के लिए हम भी थोड़ा बनाना है हमारा वर्कशॉप में, हमारे पास में, इसीलिए so various decisions can be done by the costing system. और एक बार मैं पढ़ूंगा, आप सुन लो, to throw light on past experience and locate profits or loss on previous work, to act as a guide for future transactions and locate idle time mechanically, to compare different methods of manufacturing the same article, to appreciate in what ways product expenditure may be reduced, to check employees and prevent waste in case of any manpower loss, manpower wastage in job operations, वो देखने के लिए, और to locate whether it is intentional or accidental, में हो सकता है allowed times कम करना है, नहीं हुआ, maybe accidental, maybe intentional, वो सब देखना है. To locate particular item of work or operation, expenditure on which is susceptible for cost control कर सकते क्या? To identify the variations of cost between the various workshops in the railways and workshops of other railways. In the case of special works, to charge on differential rates in case necessity is that हम थोड़ा कम कर सकते, ऑफर कर सकते एक्सपोर्ट करने के लिए, इसीलिए. So these are all the various points for which the costing system is necessary, and to make or buy decisions and make and buy decisions also. The cost system का जरूरत है, so it is important that we follow some costing system. Similarly, POH cost कैसा कम होना वो भी देखना है. हमारा री-इंजीनियरिंग करके, हमारा शेड्यूलिंग में री-इंजीनियरिंग करके POH में कैसा कर सकते, कैसा कम कर सकते. नया रोलिंग स्टॉक कोड में निर्देशन दिया गया है, इसमें आइडेंटिफाई द आइटम्स वेयर वी हैव टू हैव यूनिट कॉस्ट ऑफ द आइटम्स, एंड आल्सो whether the expenditure is based on the actual consumption of the material or not, whether the material is drawn and available in the shop floor, it goes to unit cost. ये नहीं होना चाहिए. So accountant, recording of accountant as well as the consumption should be in consonance in such a way that unit cost of POH is true and fair, which is for the purpose of cost comparison, for the purpose of cost control, So इसमें 2H में भी unit cost कम change होता है. In this, what are the items must change items? What items can be must change based on the periodicity? What are the items that can be changed based on the age cum condition? Corrosion repair होता है age cum condition में तभी होता है. There are certain items, capital spares, like roof mount air conditioner, traction motor, bogie frame. These are the capital spares. हम उसका लाइफ क्या होता है, हाउस कैसा हम को टर्मिनेट करेंगे, ऐसा पूरा लाइफ का, पूरा एसेट लाइफ का, पूरा लोको लाइफ का, पूरा कैरेज का, पूरा वैगन लाइफ कितना होता है इसका, वो को टर्मिनेट करना है. तो दोनों एक ही बार एक्सचेंज करना है, रिप्लेस करना है. सो दैट इज हाउ द POH operations are correlated or rearranged. So for that purpose क्या करना है, हम कास्टिंग एक्सपेंडिचर, कलेक्टिंग द एक्सपेंडिचर लिस्ट ऑफ एक्टिविटी वाइज, कोच वाइज, वैगन वाइज, लोको वाइज भी कर सकते हैं. सो इसीलिए आइडेंटिफाई देम एज ए कैटेगरी वाइज, ए टाइप वाइज रोलिंग स्टॉक, and identify the cost centers for each specific portion of POH activity. So paint activity is there. It's a continuous activity which can be unanimously standardized and can be standardized activity. So comparison, there is painting activity में much variation नहीं रहता. हर कोच का हर डिफाइन दिया गया है, इसमें consumption of paint for each coach nowadays PU paints are being used. इसीलिए यूनिफॉर्म में होता है, इसमें there is no variation in expenditure. But however, in the case of bogie frames, in the case of major exchange items of spares, where safety is involved, so without compromising on the safety, without compromising on the aspect of safety, हम कैसा expenditure कम करेंगे by rearranging the activities in a workshop. ये सब देखना है. Defining the must change items, dividing the items based on the category, age cum condition of the items, base items of the high value which are C category items like roof mounted air conditioner. बहुत बड़ा costly spare है हर कोचों में, उसका लाइफ है 11-12 साल, बट कोच का लाइफ हो सकता है 35 years. सो कैसा कोरिलेट करेंगे इसका लाइफ और उसका लाइफ, लाइक दैट. ये सब चीज होना चाहिए फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ कास्ट कंट्रोल. सब POH कास्टिंग में जरूरत है चेंजेस, लिंकिंग अप. इसके लिए हाउ तो कैसा करेंगे, हमारा कास्ट रिकॉर्ड्स एंड फाइनेंशियल रिकॉर्ड्स को रिलेट करना है. इसीलिए भी हमारा पास होना चाहिए एक सिस्टम, जब कास्टिंग सिस्टम, हर एक्टिविटी में कास्टिंग सिस्टम होना चाहिए, बहुत बड़ा है. और कोच वाइज कास्टिंग, वैगन वाइज कास्टिंग, लोको वाइज कास्टिंग, ये बहुत जरूरत है. कर सकते भी. दैट इज हाउ वी कैन इम्प्रोवाइज फॉर द और इकोनॉमी. So if we have proper networking computers for consumption of material, for engaging of labor and booking the labor to the particular item of work, and linking the same to the work orders and collecting the expenditure to the activity actually done, ये सब हो सकता है. सब by integrating the MIS, POH costing can be regulated. and revenue expenditure में बहुत सुविधा मिलता है एक्सपेंडिचर कम करने के लिए. कास्ट कंट्रोल और कॉस्ट रिडक्शन भी कर सकते हैं इन ए लार्ज स्केल. दैट इज द पर्पस ऑफ द इम्प्रोवाइजेशन ऑफ द POH कॉस्टिंग इन इंडियन रेलवेज. हम ये भी देख सकते हैं. नाउ कमिंग बैक टू आवर एग्जामिनेशन पॉइंट ऑफ क्वेश्चन, दैट इज जॉब कॉस्टिंग. जॉब कॉस्टिंग एक आइटम है. जॉब कॉस्टिंग इज टू for this purpose we have to have time standards for introduction of job costing for any item, for any spare, for any such thing. And also we have to have allowed times, we have to have standard quantities of raw materials, and we have to have specification भी होना चाहिए. Specification which is a permanent specification देना है, which will not change in the near future, which is an important one, which will go with the life of that particular asset. So each work order should represent each item wherein all relevant expenses are collected, are able to be charged correctly, allocating the cost, allocating each on cost expenditure, job on cost, shop on cost, ऐसा लेके shop on cost and general on cost लेके we have to have, and we have to fix standards. These standards are common to all workshops. So ऐसा है, हम compare कर सकते हैं. If you have standards, then standard drawings are made available in the case for the purpose of uniformity and also production planning and control भी usage होता है. So accordingly, the production control organization has to plan these aspects which are important for the costing system in Indian Railways. Normally, general documents hai, a process sheet is an important document. A process sheet hai, is a planning document wherein the details of the work order, component number, material specification, planned production are recorded. इसमें record होता है planned production, material specification, component number, PL number, and work order number, the details of the work, and a rate fixer provides a rate allowed time. A rate fixer provides allowed time, and accordingly the records and times spent by workers are recorded in the job cards. A job card is also necessary. So as such, a process sheet में हर चीजों का डिजाइन से मुताबिक एंड प्रोडक्ट तक पूरा प्लानिंग दिया गया है देता है. इसमें प्रोसेस शीट इज बीइंग ए बेसिक रिकॉर्ड बोलता है. बेसिक रिकॉर्ड इज ए प्लानिंग डॉक्यूमेंट. एनी चेंजेस इन द प्रोसेस शुड बी डन by the competent. Any change should not be there, and any change is there, it should be competent authority, as there are financial implications. Any change in the drawing, the change in design have financial implication as these involve the production. So a job card is given. A job card is a document where the allowed times are recorded, allowed time, time taken, time saved. So on completion of the job, the job cards are submitted to the costing section for verification, preparation of cost sheet for time spent on workers, and labor cost for that shop, labor cost for each shop, for all shops. And इतना प्रोडक्शन हुआ पूरा unit cost per labor, unit cost per labor for each class of worker, each type of worker, skilled का cost, semi skilled का, highly skilled का कितना होता है ये activity में. So पूरा we can take that through this particular job card देख सकते हैं. And then material requirement, material tag is issued, and according to that material should be made available by the associate stores officer. And then route card, this is an important document which normally moves along with the work, or what meant it will move. So the route card move along with the various process of work. So material consumed in various shops along with the quantities ordered, produced and passed, and the element of labor cost, everything is recorded in the route card. The route card is the most important document. Is the चार important documents है process sheet, job card, material tag, and route card. These are the four important documents. The four important documents are process sheet, job card, material tag, and route card. So these four are important financial documents, especially the route card move along with the various process of work. So हर shop में all the details are recorded, but whereas the route card will record all the activities, all the functions, shop wise, expenditure wise, taken into the work order is recorded. So it is a basic record, it's a very important document, route card. So route cards and job cards are reconciled to see that the labor cost per unit, material cost per unit, इसमें on cost per unit भी, so सब चीजों में record होता है, we can take them. So this is how a job costing material talk looks like. I just gave you, please refer at the end of the session. We will be presenting this, and then a route card, how it moving from one process to other process. This also आप देखना है, quantity on order, date required, sub work order, components received, how it is going, priority given, all those items. So operating times and prices given for each is stated like that. A route card is an important document which moves. Normally, costing of piecework, name of the part, total time allowed, time taken, time saved, like that, material spent, all items, all those things, time lost, inspector how is certifying all the aspects in terms of time. Like that, it is costing of piecework is done. A costing document which is really correlated with the visible. After that, job costing से मतलब एक cost sheet बना है, इसमें labor cost, material cost, total hours spent in that, direct wages, indirect wages, So on cost stores, on cost labor, unit cost, finally labor and material is recorded in the cost sheet. So this is reconciled, cost sheet is reconciled to see this is again certified by the workshop accounts officer for certifying the recording of the unit cost in the cost sheet for the purpose of making a items, fixing a price for a particular item to be stocked in the manufacturing, to be stocked in, to be sent to the stock for the purpose of stocking and further issue in the consumption. So a cost card, cost sheet, and a cost card. This basically this is some kind of a cost card. This enables us to understand the wastages and the allowed times that are dealt in this particular operation is dealt in the cost card. This finally cost card is the basis for fixing the unit prices, for the particular item. So if you see bogie framework, I'm seeing the bogie. If you see, it is now we are looking at a bogie. I'm just giving various part in this bogie for your understanding. Then on the costing of a bogie frame, normally the fixed percentage in the process cost sheet, raw material part, then process cost, and then overhead cost. कितना percentage होता है? Profit भी adds कर सकते हैं हम. For example, we want to put the price so that if there is a profit and profit is nothing but pro forma on cost. It is an earning to railway. So whatever is earning to that particular unit, whichever is making it and selling it against that. So this is how normally bogie frames are the rail bogie karmagar, and also nowadays you will be seeing some of the bogie frames are made in the component shops, component workshops are there. So this is how the bogie frame cost is there. And in the case of Fiat bogie, of late you are seeing LHB coaches. For LHB coaches, the earlier item is seen ICF bogie frame. The earlier conventional bogie system, this is having the wheel brake mechanism. Braking is on wheels. If you see, these are the wheel braking mechanism. इसमें होता है brake. But whereas if you see the Fiat bogies, there is a disc. Disc का brake होता है. Why I am showing these things? Because we are slowly moving from ICF bogie to LHB bogie frames. Thereby, cost of disc brake for maintaining the wheels in the workshops for the LHB bogies is costly item. For cost ज़्यादा होता है. So we have to have understanding with reference to maintenance practices, or as well as providing the budget, providing and certifying the budget for the operations. So this is an important aspect when why we require this costing on it for a bogie frames. I'm just giving is one component in detail, one component only in detail. Why? Because we have to have the knowledge for the purpose of repairs and maintenance practice, for providing the funds in the revenue demands, So we have to have CV. This is the just Fiat bogie book frame, outer frame only frame we are manufacturing in our workshops. Lavada workshop is under the railway karma Yadgir. We are manufacturing this particular component. So this is how about how I just gave for your time information. Normally, whenever we are collecting a charge, with reference to additional charges, like supervisory charges and charges with reference to which are not charged to the WMS account, those should formulate into pro forma on cost. And incidental charges, if you see the miscellaneous and other contingencies, incidental charges and depreciation value 35,000 per piece. Normally, this depreciation charge which we are calculating as a cost accountant or as a section officer, actually this will form as a pro forma on cost, and whatever is the collected from the transfer from other units, that should go to, that will be treated as a pro forma on cost, and it will become a earning to railway, earning to a particular railway where the budget is met. So that is about it. Depreciation on land, buildings, and plant and machinery. These are all the pro forma on cost element charges, because it's based on the cost of the items manufactured. This will become an earning to railway. That is how in the internal check, this cost analysis will enable us to make the financial transactions for the for all the for the workshop activities in a general railway as well as the in the production units. So that is how today I have discussed about the importance of objective of the costing system, and also the importance of maintaining the workshop general register, and also posting the outcome statements, and also the importance of making outcome statement, making GVs, and with reference to indirect expenditure and on cost expenditure types in general railway workshops, how to make the percentages, how to make the budgets, predetermined percentages, that is otherwise known as on cost budget, and how to treat the underbar overcharges for the items at the end of the year. Also, job costing system in brief, the objective of the costing system, the importance of unit exchange rate mechanism, and understanding the cost classification, and finally, what are the items that can be identified which are known as pro forma on cost and given as earnings to railway. This is the topic for today, and I am leaving with you self-examination of workshop accounts questions. So these are all for your examination. You please, all of you, attempt these questions on your own. They are all covered in the lecture. So this is for your self-examination. All of you, please refer to these bits and make the answers and verify your answers with reference to the material I have provided or the portal books available to you, and correct yourself and update the knowledge. So these are all for your examination. I am leaving you the multiple choice question. Sincerely attempt all items. You only attempt on your own, and then gain knowledge about the workshop. That is about my lecture for today. So I'm leaving you so many questions to you. Please see, so many questions I have given for all the 3 lessons we have made so far. 3 lessons we have made in the webinar. So all these are covered, which are self-examination questions. All the participants, please attempt these questions on your own and correct the, because you are preparing for the examination, you have to clear the examination. That is what is for the today's webinar session. Sitara, am I?
Sir.
Please open for the question answer session.
Sir.
Hope I can now. I will invite questions from the participants.
Yeah. Participants, any queries? Please raise your hand.
What I request all are.
Sir, please share the PPT, sir, in the group.
Okay.
In the chat box, in the Zoom
Okay.
chat.
Yes. Please read all the PPT presentations. I give it in detail. Any question आप बोल सकते हैं?
Sir, please share the materials, sir, in the chat box.
For sure.
In the Zoom chats.
I will share the material. Don't worry about that. Thank you.
The class is finished, sir. Okay, on behalf of the academy, I thank Sri P.V. Nagarao sir for taking up the session on workshop accounts. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Tomorrow we have session on bookkeeping. Okay, and I request all of you to please tell your colleagues how to join. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bernard.